Hey now, PD Grizz here, and I'm finally finishing off the series on my collection that I promised when I hit 1,000 subs. So what we got here is basically my tiny knife collection, and just in time for Tiny Knife Tuesday. So I am not going to show all the classics I got. I get free classics with knives I buy. I have bought classics in amounts of 30 and 25 and 15. I have bags of classics. I'm not going through them all. They're all the same thing, but we'll go through some of my favorite little tiny guys here. First up, we've got your basic classic. I like this one because it says Trauma Team. It came free with a knife. So I carried this one once in a while, but I'll just carry any classic in my fifth pocket when I go out, just to make sure I have a nail file and some scissors and all that kind of good stuff. Bong, bong. It's interesting this is Trauma Team, but does not have the emergency blade. Next up, we've got a Rambler. This is hands down one of my favorite 58 millimeters. I mean, some guys like the mini champs and stuff. I really don't need that many tools on these compact things. I'm not doing that much work with a 58 millimeter knife. These are nice in a pinch though. You do get your, of course you got your blade, little tiny blade for opening packages or whatever. Still got a blade. And then of course we've got the stippled nail file with the small flathead screwdriver, which also will work on like number 2 Phillips too, pretty well. Just like the tip of the can opener on the 91 and 84 millimeter knives. And then we've got those beautiful little 58 millimeter scissors. They're great for cutting up sheets of blotter paper. For whatever reason, you might have to do that. And we've got the little Phillips driver, wire stripper, cap lifter, combo tool. Man, it's got it all. So yeah, this is a cool little tool. Great for small Phillips screws. Got your toothpick. Bam. Got your tweezers. Bickety bow. Forest green. Doro rock supply, whatever that is. Outstanding. Here's one of my favorite little knives to carry. A Wenger Esquire. Bong bong. She's got the toothpick and tweezers hidden down at the end. Beautiful translucent purple color. Eddie Bauer series. Eddie Bauer made all kinds of pseudo outdoor crap in the 90s and 2000s. You know, they'd slap their name on anything you could buy at Walmart or anywhere else for that matter. So what do we got in here? We've got, bam, nice blade. These are a great size knife. This is my favorite size of little knife, the 65 millimeter. I think that's a perfect keychain size knife. You get a little more size out of it than the 58 millimeter, but it's still small enough that you don't notice you really have it. Then we've got the nail file, which is just the blade blank that hasn't been ground down at all. But the nice thing about this, unlike, I don't like the classic SD because you don't have a cleaning tip for under your fingernails. It's not as easy to do. You can use the blade, but it's a little sharp, but you know, that's what men do. And then we've got them scissors, the little tiny Wenger scissors. These are great scissors, outstanding scissors. You know, bam. What can't you do with them? You can even see the toothpick through there, and the tweezers. Oh noes. Next up, we've got an ensign. Bong bong. I'll know more about it when I open it up. It's a Victorinox ensign. Victoria, yep. So this dates to, you know, late 60s, early 70s. Got that Victoria tang stamp, 4-line, Switzerland, stainless Ross Fry, all that good stuff. Cool thing about this is got that old-fashioned cross-cut nail file. This is one of my favorite types of nail files. The way the tip is subtly ground up here, this is a great nail tool. This is my favorite version of the nail tool they've done. Notice it's got like a lined guilloche pattern on the stainless steel scales. Very cool. Bam. Again, we've got them scissors. Of course, these would have had a single leaf spring originally, but that's been replaced long ago. But I love this knife for, you know, if I'm like wearing jeans or something and I don't, if I just slip this in my fifth pocket, don't need keychain on it or something. If I'm going out and don't want to have my keys banging around or whatever. Great little knife. And next up, we've got a Hofmann Broker. And we've got the train going by. Of course we do. The Gambler's Express. Whoop, 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 whoop. But anyway, so notice this has the serpentine pattern on it. This is a Hofmann Broker. Now you're going to see people say, oh, well, the Ensign didn't have a key ring and the Broker had a key ring. And that's not entirely true. The Broker was sold with and without a key ring. I've seen brand new Brokers in the box with no key ring, and it says Broker on the box. So explain that. It's just, you know, different regions, they gave knives different names, and then people argue about it 30 years later as if it matters. But broken Ensign, same thing. Basically a bijou, but with steel handles. But you can see the difference in the guilloche pattern on it. I believe that's what it's called when they do this line pattern on stainless steel knives. So the cool thing about this knife, same everything as that knife I just showed you, but it's, oh, this is a Victoria knife too, but it says Hofmann, Switzerland, stainless. Super cool. Does this have the one thing? Nah, this has replaced a spring too. So no single leaf on that, but that's okay. Next up, we got a Hoffmann Mother of Pearl Classic SD. She's just beautiful. This could be the 70s or 80s. Actually later than I thought originally. But what we've got here is the blade, pardon me, with Hoffman's inked or whatever that is, printed on the lasered onto the blade. No Victoria on this guy. I mean, this is great looking mother of pearl. Just reflects the light. Doesn't really have that like the color of some mother of pearl, but still very nice mother of pearl. Another cool thing about this knife is, that's the blade again. This is the crosscut nail file. For whatever reason, on the luxury versions of these, they kept the crosscut nail file and did not use the stippled nail file, even though they were already putting the stippled nail file on the Celador versions. I don't know why. I guess maybe they thought these were a little more classy. Maybe they just wanted them to have an old school feel. Who knows? But, and then again, we've got the little tiny scissors on that guy. All right, that's enough of these ultra tiny knife. Now up to another tiny knife. This is an Ambassador. Boom. Look at that. Aluminum tip tweezers. Got a toothpick. Bong, bong. Got a small nail file that is actually made from the blank of the blade for the Executive. For the small blade on the Executive, as we'll see in a second. Then we've got the main blade, 74 millimeter knives. These are a great size knife. You can do a lot with them, but they're still compact. A little more utility than the 58s, 65s, but still a very compact size. And then finally, we've got the scissors. The spring has been replaced on these guys, but I'd rather have them working than not working. Next up is the big brother to that, the Executive. Again, now we've got a nickel silver shield on this, a little earlier one. This is a Victoria era, so probably before 73. We've got the aluminum tip tweezers. Got that toothpick, if I can get it out, because I got my nails trimmed yesterday. And then what do we got over here is, we'll start with that. We got the infamous orange peeler tool with the screwdriver tip. Does a great job doing what it is. Great package tool. Great little scalpel type tool. Excellent little tool. Very interesting tool. Some people hate it because it's an orange peeler and they think that's silly. How often do I open oranges? It's a little package tool. Oh yeah, I forgot this thing got all dirty when I took it fishing. I forgot to clean it. That's pretty funny. But here we got that little tiny blade I was talking about. And they don't grind this and they turn it into the nail file on the Ambassador. And then we've got the main blade with Victoria on the back. Great little blade. This knife has some bulk for how little it is. When you hold one of these, you're like, man, that thing's got some density packed into it. It's got a lot of utility in a small package. Next up, we got the nail cleaner and nail file. Not one of my favorite crosscut nail files, but it does the job. I do like the cleaning tip, though. That does a good job. And then finally, we've got them scissors with the single leaf spring. The original one. I got another executive sitting right here. This is the exact same one, except the scissors are busted. The spring, yeah, see the spring? The spring was hanging on for the longest time, and then it finally kinked over right there. So I'll just leave it alone for now. I'll send it in and get it fixed eventually. Next up, we've got an Victorinox. What the heck is this called? Sentinel? Sentry? Something? I don't know. A student Sentinel. Little solo model. A-locks, no cross. Grid, waffle grid scales. With the Victorinox crossbow on the front. Victorinox Switzerland stainless frost fry on the back. Weird little knife that I picked up for a deal. Extremely light, like very light aluminum scale, very light little knife. Next up, we got a 50 student. This is a 75 millimeter model. Cool, interesting model. You know, it's shaped like the 84s, but it's actually just a hair longer than the 74s. And I think it's longer than the 75, but they call it a 75 millimeter model. So we've got a little pen blade there for sharpening your pencil or your quill pen back in the day. And then we've got a larger blade for a larger blade for whittling or what have you. Notice the Victoria with the crossbow. Got the faux tortoiseshell scales. Got the bail, exposed rivets. This is a cool little knife. I really like this knife. That's just a fun little knife right there. And finally, one of my favorite knives is this mother of pearl. I forget what the heck name this is, but this is a super cool knife, man. I'm very happy to have this one. So we've got a little blade stamped Poldy. Poldy was a steel manufacturer that supplied steel to Victorinox prior to World War II. And Victorinox also made knives for them and stamped them with their name. So this is a Victorinox knife that has been stamped Poldy. Next, we've got the main blade. And an interesting thing about the Poldy knives is on the main blade, they did the stamp on the blade rather than on the tang. So you get a small stamp on the small blade, and then you get a large stamp on the actual blade itself, on the main blade. Great snap to this guy. Next up, we've got these scissors. I've compared these closely, the scissors from the catalogs and the stamps and stuff. And this dates to sometime in the 1930s. The fact that this is intact with this mother of pearl, which is very brittle and very fragile, is just is insane. I mean, just the workmanship on these is crazy, because you got to hammer those pins down with that mother of pearl, and it would be, if those pins expanded just a little too much, this stuff would just crack and shatter right out. It's very impressive how they do this work. Oh, notice that the edges of the brass liners are what's called coined, and that's just when they do that workmanship, a little bit of decoration that looks like the edge of a coin on the liners. Something they did a lot in that era. And then we've got a very famous long wide back nail file. This is a great nail file. It's very cool how it looks, how it just covers up, closes the whole back up like that. This is just a great little gentleman's knife. One of my favorites, just like all of you, some of my favorites. Anyway, thanks for watching. and I will see you in the next one. I got some clones and some odds and ends that didn't fit into the other videos coming up, and that will be my final part in part 6 of the collection video of the Pile O Sacks collection. Anyway, take it easy. Peter Grizz out.